أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توبا وتمتعه فيها طويلا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. We ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to make this majlis a majlis of learning, understanding, of enlightenment that gives us insight and brings us closer to Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam, as a result closer to the Almighty Allah. And the ajr and the sawab of whatever we will learn today be given to the marhumeen present, every one of us, marhumeen of every one of us, especially present in this majlis. And Allah make death the sweetest moment of our life, inshaAllah. One of the ziyarats that we have to address Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam is ziyarat Ali Yasin. We did talk on this ziyarat on and off, and one of the phrases that we have in this ziyarat, it says, Assalamu alayk ya wa'ad Allah alladhi dhamina. That is, salam be upon you, the promise of Allah. Ya wa'ad Allah. He is the promise of God. He has vowed to send him, and he will definitely send him. Now then says, Alladhi dhamina. That vow, that promise, that is guaranteed by him. So if it is a promise of Allah, means it is already guaranteed. But why does he say Alladhi dhamina in this statement? It's for further emphasis that this is definite to take place. It will certainly happen. Imam will definitely return, and he will rule on the surface of this earth until the day of judgment. That rule of Imam will continue, and that is tumatta'ahu fiha tawila that we have. So intidhar means to wait. Intidhar means that we all have to be ready. At times people say that why has it been delayed? It's thousands of years now, hundreds of years have passed away, and nothing has happened. All these promises that were given to us, all these riwayat that are being recited, all that hope that was generated, nothing has happened until now. That doesn't matter. That is not our problem. That what is binding on us is that we have to be ready. Jawad Mansouri, he was the first general, or the first CEO of the Sipah when it was formed after the Islamic Revolution 42 years ago. He says that in the initial days of the Islamic Revolution, things were becoming really tedious, very difficult. Every now and then people are being killed, and then all those bombs and massacres. So everything was difficult. And he says that things were just falling apart. It wasn't easy to handle. And the enemies from the exterior and those from within, all of them revolting against us, and those in the system. He says that I used to go to Imam Khomeini on and off for all these instructions to get them from him. And I said to him, Imam, this is what's happening and we don't know how to handle. Things are just falling apart. Says Imam Khomeini, with all that tranquility, he used to say that don't worry. I will speak to the relative officials and they will help you and things will be better. Says again, after a few days, I went to him and I was really tensed, upset. Jawad Mansouri says, I was upset and I said to the Imam, I don't know how to deal with all these issues. Here he says that Imam Khomeini at this point, he says, be rest assured, and this revolution, it will remain. And all these people who are working against the revolution are just increasing our work. And also, let me assure you that they will get nothing from this, and you be assured that this flag of this revolution, it will be given into the pure hands of Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam. That is guaranteed, that is certain. Now these are awliyaullah who are connected to the divine, connected to behind the scenes. So they know the reality, what is happening. And that gives us a lot of hope, especially in this day and age that we are living in, that the return of the Imam is definite. Now when we talk about Imam and his return in ziyarat, in ayat, in riwayat, we get all that assurance. Now here in this statement of this ziyarat, it says, Assalamu alayka ya wa'ad Allah alladhi dhamina. Salam be upon you, that is the Imam, that is the promise of Allah, the guaranteed promise of Allah. So many verses in the Holy Quran, they indicate that the divine promise of the establishment or the formation of a state, of a rule, and that is based on justice, that is definite, and it will happen. Some of the verses we'll recite today. First of all, it says in Surah Al-Anbiya, هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى. It is He, the Almighty Allah, who has sent His Prophet with guidance, وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ, and with a true religion, لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ, so that this religion prevails upon every religion, على الدين كله, وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا, and Allah is a witness over here. Now here it's the promise of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and this is certain to happen, that this religion of Allah, it will prevail over every religion. Now when we look into the teachings of the Ma'asumeen, or the belief system that we have, and the prophetic mission that was sent, 124,000 prophets were sent. Most of the prophets were killed by their people. So the prophets, whatever endeavor and the task they may have had, they did not get the opportunity to fulfill their missions. So all missions have been incomplete. So the task given to Prophet Adam, the tasks given to Prophet Ibrahim, to Prophet Nuh, to Rasulullah, to Amirul Mu'mineen, all of them are incomplete. They did whatever they did to the best of their abilities, but then they were killed. So they could not fulfill. That is why we've got all of the Imams, and we say that Assalamu alayk ya waritha Adama Safwatillah. Salam be upon you, Imam Hussein, who inherits what? The wealth of Prophet Adam. It's just like the son who inherits all the undone tasks of the father, the son has to do it. So all those incomplete tasks of the father, of the grandfather, of the ancestors are to be done by the son now. Now here Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam, he is the one who will inherit everything from all of the prophets, and it is the word of Allah where He says لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ, that on the surface of this globe it is going to be the deen of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that is going to prevail, عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ, that is upon all the religions. وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا. That's one. And the second ayah, it is in Surah Anbiya again. وَلَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ. It's written in Zabur. مِن بَعْدِ الذِّكْرِ, after the reminder. أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون, that this land, it will be inherited by my righteous servants. Again, that is the word and the promise of Allah, and it will definitely happen. And here, Ibadi as-Salihun, my righteous servants, who are they? Says, from among the good, the righteous servants of Allah, who are moving within the parameters and the do's and don'ts that have been mentioned by the Almighty. Among them, the most pious, it is Aba Salih, that is Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam. So he will inherit, he will establish, and he will put things right, and his rule is the rule of justice. Another ayah, it's in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 30. There the Almighty says, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً, that the Almighty Allah, He said to the angels that I am making a Khalifa in the land, that is in the earth. قَالُوا أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءَ, are you going to create someone who is going to cause corruption and who is going to have bloodshed in the land? Once we are here, we are pure, we glorify you, we praise you. Allah says, قَالَ إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ, I know what you do not know. And then I know what you do not know. That is the word of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that He says. So that is the promise of Allah that is definitely going to happen, and that promise is the return of Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam. Another ayah, Surah An-Nur, ayah number 55. وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ, Allah has promised those of you who have faith and do righteous deeds, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Now this لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُم, it's with two emphases. Lam is for emphasis, ta'keed, and then again لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّ, the shadda that we have here, noon, that is a second emphasis. That the Almighty Allah, He says that He will surely establish for them their religion. لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ, that is, He will make them the successors in the earth, and that is definite to happen. كَمَا اسْتَخْلَفَتَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ, just as it was in the past. Then He says, وَلَيُمَكِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ دِينَهُمُ الَّذِي ارْتَضَى لَهُمْ, and then He will surely establish for them their religion which He has approved for them. Not every religion. All these other religions that we have on the surface of this earth, every religion? No. Every Islam? No. Only that Islam which has Ali in it, that is the Islam that is Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, that He likes, that He is happy with. So an Islam without Amirul Mu'mineen Ali in it, that is not what Allah is pleased with. Says that دينهم الذي ارتضى لهم وليبدلنهم من بعد خوفهم أمنا. And as a result of this establishment of the rule of that pious from the Almighty Allah, says this fear that you have in the society on the surface of this earth, that fear will be changed into peace, and then no one but the Almighty Allah will be worshipped in the land. يَعْبُدُونَنِي لَا يُشْرِكُونَ بِي شَيْئًا, that everyone will be, while they will worship me, not ascribing any partners to me. لَا يُشْرِكُونَ بِي شَيْئًا, that is that word of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that is certain and definite to happen. And then the end of the ayah, it's very shocking over here. The Almighty says, وَمَنْ كَفَرَ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ, and whoever is ungrateful after that, it is they who are the transgressors, they who are the fasiqeen. So what is that ungratefulness over here, not accepting the Imam, not accepting the rule of the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. And one more ayah, that is the last ayah of Suratul Fath, surah number 48. And it is the day of Imam al-Asr, Friday. Make it a habit to have a tawassul with the Imam. If you can do it every day, do it. If you can't, at least once in a week. It's a 2 rakat prayer, qurbatan ilallah. After Suratul Hamd, in the first rakat, recite Suratul Fath, surah number 48. You can look into your devices and recite from there. And then in the second rakat, just like any other namaz, one hamd and whichever surah you like. And after the salat, if you can recite this istighatha to Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, it is a small ziyarat. And it is one of the best of ways of tawassul to the Imam. You can find it online on YouTube. It's called Seeking Help from Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. It's a small, beautiful ziyarat. Do these 2 rakat prayers, and especially it is recommended on a Friday. So anytime during the day, you can offer these 2 rakat. First rakat, Suratul Hamd, and then Suratul Fath, second rakat after Suratul Hamd, whichever surah you like. And then you recite this Salamullah al-Kamil al-Tam al-Shamil al-Am. It's a beautiful small ziyarat. Recite it. Now in this Suratul Fath, the Almighty says, Muhammadun Rasulullah walladhina ma'ahu ashidda'u 'ala al-kuffar ruhama'u baynahum. Muhammad is the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, and those with him, they are severe and strong against the kuffar. Ruhama baynahum, within themselves they are very kind. Tarahum rukkan sujjadan, you will find them in the state of ruku. You will find them in the state of sajda. Yabtaghuna fadlan min Allah wa ridwana, always seeking the grace and the pleasure, the contentment of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Simahum fi wujuhihim min athar as-sujud, you will see their marks visible on their faces from the effect of sajdas. ذَلِكَ مَثَلُهُمْ فِي التَّوْرَاةِ وَمَثَلُهُمْ فِي الْإِنْجِيلِ, you would find the like of them in Tawrat and in Injil that has been mentioned. وَمَثَلُهُمْ فِي الْإِنْجِيلِ كَالزَّرْعٍ أَخْرَجَ شَطْأَهُ فَآزَرَهُ. Now all these are the beautiful qualities that Allah has mentioned regarding the followers of Rasulullah, and now it is the following of Imam al-Asr alayhi salam. Now here he says, وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ مِنْهُمْ مَغْفِرَةً وَأَجْرًا عَظِيمًا. Says that is a definite promise of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala for those who have faith and those who do righteous deeds. And what is for them? Forgiveness, and there is a great reward for them. So it is that certain promise of Allah, return of Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam. Now one of the other reasons why Imam needs to come, needs to return, it's for all these tughat, zalimeen, the oppressors, all these tyrants, so much of loot and plunder, so much of zulm and oppression on the surface of this earth. So that's zulm and oppression has to be dealt with. Who deals with them? That is Imam al-Asr. And for that also Quran says in Surah Al-Hud, ayah number 8, لَإِنْ أَخَّرْنَا عَنْهُمُ الْعَذَابِ إِلَىٰ أُمَّةٍ مَعْدُودَةٍ لَيَقُولُنَّ مَا يَحْبِسُهُ. Says, and we will hold back from them the punishment, the adhab, until a stated period of time. أَلَا يَوْمَ يَأْتِيهِمْ لَيْسَ مَصْرُوفًا عَنْهُمْ, until a stated period of time that will be pushed away from them, the azab. They will certainly say, what prevents it? Now surely on that day when it will come to them, this azab will come to them, it shall not be averted from them, and that which they mocked and made fun of. So here, when is that time going to come? Says that this azab that Allah wants to give to these oppressors and tyrants, it will be pushed away until a certain time, not permanently, but for a short time, and then they will see their punishments. When is that time going to be? Says the time of the return of the Imam. He will punish them, these oppressors, these tyrants, and they will see the punishment of what they did. Now, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he emphasizes a lot on this issue of this return of the Imam alayhi salam, and says that it is among those definite signs that will happen, that will take place. He says, سيكون من بعد خلفاء ومن بعد الخلفاء أمراء. The Prophet, he says that after me you'll see some khulafa. After the khulafa you'll see some umara. Umara means rulers. And then he says after those rulers you'll see muluk. Muluk means kings. ومن بعد الملوك جبابرة. And after those kings you'll see tyrants, oppressors. They will come into existence. And then he says, ثم يخرج رجل من أهل بيتي. Then a man from my Ahl Bayt, he will rise. يملأ الأرض عدلا كما ملئت جورا. He will fill the land with justice, just as it was filled with tyranny and oppression. So that is definite to happen. Now when we look back into this history of the khulafa and the kings and the rulers of after Rasulullah, exactly as the Prophet has mentioned, there was a period of time that there was some khulafa. After them they came up in the form of rulers like Yazid and then Muawiyah, and after that they came up in the form of muluk, kings, all these Abbasi kings who came into existence, and after them they came in the forms of Jababira, all those tyrants, those oppressors who killed thousands and thousands of Shias and oppressed people. Then they also came into existence. And then what we see today, it's the same thing. It's the same Jababira who are ruling on all these countries, and all this massacre is seen. So there is now one thing remaining according to this word of the Prophet, and that is يَخْرُجُ رَجُلٌ مِّنْ أَهْلِ بَيْتِي. A man from my Ahl Bayt, he will rise and he will fill the land with equity and justice, just as it was filled with oppression and zulm. Now, all of these beautiful ayat and riwayat are there. One of the other riwayat from Rasulullah, he says that وَيْحَ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ مِنْ مُلُوكٍ جَبَابِرَ كَيْفَ يَقْتُلُونَ وَيَخِيفُونَ الْمُطِيعُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَظْهَرَ طَاعَتَهُم. Says a time will come when you will see that shame on that people, how they will be killed by all these oppressors, and how bloodshed for them it doesn't matter, and how these people also they are in the obedience of these oppressors. Says this will happen until man adhara ta'at فالمؤمن التقي. That is until the return of the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, this will be the case. Now then Imam says to Huzaifa, if the return of the Imam it's only one day has remained until the day of judgment, what Allah will do is that He will elongate and make that one day so long until the Imam returns. So again, all these riwayat that talk about the promised return of Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam. Now another hadith that we have, and that is from Rasulullah, it is a glad tiding that he gives to Hazrat Fatima. فَقَالَ لَهَا, Rasulullah says to her, نَبِيُّنَا خَيْرُ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ وَهُوَ أَبُوكَ. Says our Prophet is the best of Prophet, Fatima, and that is your father. شَهِيدُنَا خَيْرُ الشُّهَدَاءِ وَهُوَ عَمُّ أَبِيكَ. Our Shaheed is the best of Shuhada, and that is your father's uncle. And then he says, and from us is someone who's got wings and who will fly in the heavens wherever he wants to. وَهُوَ إِبْنُ عَمِّ أَبِيكَ. And that is your father's cousin, your father's uncle's son. And he is Ja'far Tayyar. وَمِنَّا سِبْتَ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ, and from us are the grandsons of this nation, and that is Hassan and Hussein, and they are your two sons. And then he says, وَمِنَّا الْمَهْدِي, Mahdi is also from us. So over here again, in all these definite statements of Rasulullah and the promise of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, this is certain to happen, definite to happen, and it will take place. Now, when we look back into the statements of Ma'asumeen alayhimus salam, here in one of these riwayat pertaining to Imam Mahdi alayhis salam, says, Ma'ashir al-mu'mineen abshiru bil-faraj. O people, mu'mineen, believers, inform people, give them the good news of the faraj. Faraj is that relief, which means the return of the Imam alayhis salam. فَإِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ لَا يُخْلِفُ, that is the promise of Allah which will never be denied. وَقَضَاؤُهُ لَا يُرَدْ, says that will definitely take place. وَهُوَ الْحَكِيمُ الْخَبِيرُ, he is that wise, he is that khabir. فَإِنْ فَتَحَ اللَّهُ قَرِيب, فَإِنَّ فَتْحَ اللَّهِ قَرِيب, that indeed this victory of Allah is very near. Allahumma innahum ahli fadhhab anhum ar-rijs, and then the Prophet over here prays for them and says that God, they are all my family, keep away every indecency and impurity away from them, and keep them tahharahum tathira, and you have purified them a purifying. And then he prays for the victory of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, for his following, and until the end. So the return of Imam alayhi salam is definite. All these ayat that we recited today are all a pure proof, and also the statements that we have from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Now, the next phrase that we have in this beautiful ziyarat is that Assalamu alayka ayyuhal alamul mansoob. So the first phrase, for those of you who've joined late, it was Assalamu alayka ya wa'dallah, that is, salam be upon you, Imam Mahdi, the promise of Allah. And then that promise, alladhi dhaminah, the promise of Allah that He has guaranteed to fulfill, that is the return of the Imam alayhi salam. And the next phrase in this ziyarat Ali Yasin states, Assalamu alayka ayyuhal alamul mansoob. Alam in Arabic means flag. Mansoob means a flag that was hoisted, that was installed. Wal ilmul masboob. Ilm means knowledge. Masboob means poured. Wal ghawsu wal rahmatul wasi'ah. Ghaws means helper. Rahma means mercy. Wasi'ah means all encompassing. So you've got all these beautiful names for Imam over here. Wal ghawsu wal rahmatul wasi'ah, that he is the helper and the all encompassing mercy of Allah. Again says wa'dan ghayra makzoob. And this is a promise that will not be denied, will not be lied, will not be rebuked. So, alamun mansoob, it means the hoisted and the appointed flag, means the same Imam whom the Prophet of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam has installed a flag of guidance for the Ummah, the same guardian and the same successor of the Prophet is among the Ummah who teaches religious teachings to the people, and the Ummah also must obey them. So that flag that we have, it was hoisted by Rasulullah, and then it was Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam, and now it is the descendant of Amirul Mu'mineen. He is the flag that was installed by the Prophet for the guidance of mankind, for the guidance of the nation of Rasulullah, and for all their day-to-day needs and religious teachings and values. All of that was by Rasulullah. Now Huzaifa, he says, reports in a hadith, he says that فَخَرَجْنَا إِلَى مَكَّةَ مَعَ النَّبِي, we went to Mecca with the Prophet, في حجة الوداع, in the final Hajj, in the farewell Hajj of Rasulullah. فَنَزَلَ جبرائيل, Jibreel descends. فقال يا محمد إن ربك يقرأك السلام ويقول, Muhammad, your Lord, conveys his salams to you, and he has said, أنسب عليا علما للناس, that you appoint Ali as a flag for the humanity, for the people. At this statement of Jibreel, Rasulullah, he wept a lot. فبكى النبي حتى أخضلت لحيته. He cried so much that his beard was soaked in his tears. وقال يا جبرائيل, he says, Jibreel, my nation, they cannot handle all this. They cannot handle Amirul Mu'mineen. I appoint him as the flag and the center point for everything for them. They are still in that environment and the understanding of the era of Jahiliyyah. They are still influenced from that Jahiliyyah. ضربتهم على الدين طوعا وكرها حتى انقادوا لي فكيف إذا حملت على رقابهم. Says, how can that happen? They will not handle it, and all. There's going to be another bloodshed if I appoint Amirul Mu'mineen as the alam for them. Now here, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam is that alam after Amirul Mu'mineen. And here in this ziyarat Ali Yasin, we say Assalamu alayka. In another ziyarat, we have this statement saying that Assalamu alayka ya man nasabahu Rasulullah. Salam be upon you, who Rasulullah appointed you as the Imam and as the alam, as the flag and the Imam. That is Amirul Mu'mineen Salamullah alayh. Now the next phrase that we had in this beautiful ziyarah, it said that Ayyuhal alamul mansoob wal ilmul masboob. Ilmul masboob. Ilmul masboob. We have an ayah in Quran. It says, فَلْيَنظُرِ الْإِنسَانِ إِلَىٰ طَعَامِهِ. Now, فَلْيَنظُر means you should consider, or in simple language, you should see. فَلْيَنظُر, that you see. فَلْيَنظُرِ الْإِنسَانِ إِلَىٰ طَعَامِهِ, that is, when you are eating food, you look at your food. Consider your food. Look at your food, especially nowadays. And when you are sitting on the table, instead of concentrating and looking at the food, people are looking in their devices, in their mobiles. There's something happening in that mobile. It's either chat or some video or whatever it is. Here the command is فَلْيَنظُرِ الْإِنسَانِ إِلَىٰ طَعَامِهِ. You look at your food. You concentrate that where has this come from, the origins of that, who has provided that for you, and then you thank the Almighty who has provided. You start with a Bismillah, you end with a Alhamdulillah. All these are teachings that we have which are divine, which are for our own benefit, that we are constantly reminded of the Creator, bonded with the Creator, even when we are eating food. فَلْيَنظُرِ الْإِنسَانِ إِلَىٰ طَعَامِهِ, that you should be looking at your food, not at your devices. The Almighty says, أَنَّا سَبَبْنَا الْمَاءَ صَبًّا. The next ayah after this, over here says that is أَنَّا سَبَبْنَا الْمَاءَ صَبًّا, that we poured down plenteous water from the sky. So over here in this ziyarat we said, وَالْعِلْمُ الْمَسْبُوبِ. Sababna means to pour down plenteous water from the sky. Allah has poured down. And here to Imam Mahdi alayhi salam we say wal ilmul masboob. It means that, literally it means pouring water and preparing it for drinking. Therefore, ilmul masboob means the knowledge that has been poured out and is ready for use. Now, during the time of the previous Imams, all of the 11 Imams, they also had that ilm that was given to them by Allah. But the situation or the position or the atmosphere was such that it wasn't possible for them to provide that knowledge to the people of their time. So most of the knowledge that they had, all of the Imams, except Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, their ilm was either makhzoon or maktoum. Makhzoon means it was all treasured, they had it. Maktoum means it was all hidden. Now we have reporters, many reporters, who were the first band or the first batch and the most trustworthy reporters of Imam as-Sadiq and Imam Baqir alayhi salam. Among them is Jabir, etc. They say that I have and I know more than 50,000 ahadith, some others say more than that, that Imam has told me, given me that science and that ilm, and forbidden me to transfer that to anyone else. So all that Imam had, he gave me, and for me, for safekeeping and for my own benefit, and not to be transferred to anyone else. So there was ilm that was given to him, but then he was forbidden to transfer it further. Many reasons. One of the reasons may be because the people, they cannot handle it, or when they transfer that information to someone else, they will misuse it, or people, they cannot tolerate it. All these different reasons are there. But for Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam, we don't have this situation. All the other Imams, their ilm, they had all that ilm given to them from Allah, but they could not spread it. They could not provide it to the people so that they could use it. But for Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wassalam, that ilm that we have over here is ilmul masboob. That is, it will be spread and it will be made available for people to benefit from that ilm. And these riwayat that we have that talk about the era of the Mubarak return of Imam alayhi salam, they state that, for example, just for understanding's sake, we are in 2021, and if Imam is to return in 2021, for example, or 2022, all this knowledge that you have in all fields, in every technology, whatever you can think of, says all of that knowledge that you have, and we think that we are so advanced and we know so much compared to the centuries before, knowledge wise we are well off, no doubt in that. Now all that knowledge that we have in this day, and if Imam is to return tomorrow, here hadith says that all the knowledge that we have is 2 portions out of 30 portions. So those 28 portions of knowledge are with the Imam alayhi salam. And when he returns, he will make that 28 portion as well, those 28 portions of knowledge also available to mankind, to humanity. So this 2% that we have, plus that 28 portions that will be given and provided by the Imam alayhi salam, that will make a big difference in the lives of people, how they live and how they dwell. The travel, for example, is not going to be only within this world, it's going to be beyond this planet, and everything is going to be extra fast, supersonic, whatever you can think of. It's going to, because riwayat, they talk about the era of the Imam, where people will be traveling on nur, on light. Now we are traveling on roads and on these highways, then it's going to be on light. Now what exactly it means, inshallah, Allah gives us a long life and we live and we benefit from the return of the Imam alayhi salam, and if death is to intervene between us and his return, we be brought back to life so that we serve the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. Over here, ilmul masboob means that ilm that he will spread and make it user friendly for you and me to be able to benefit from that ilm. So even ilm, it needs to be transferred to us in a way that is friendly to us, that we be able to benefit from it. Otherwise, ilm, if it's there and we don't know how to use it, it's not going to be user friendly. So Imam will make it user friendly for every one of us, and here that will be there during the time of the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. وَالْعِلْمُ الْمَصْبُوبُ. Now the next phrase that we have in this beautiful ziyarah is that وَالْغَوْسُ وَالرَّحْمَةُ الْوَاسِعَةُ. Ghaus means helper. Imam helps, and that is a quality that every one of us has to have. Be helpful to others. And when we look back into the seerah of the Ma'sumin, they were always helpful, never turned away anyone who knocked at their door. Among the ulama also this seerah is seen. One of the great ulama, when he had become old in Qum, and he couldn't do all those teaching and lecturing that he used to do when he was young. Now that he is old and he cannot do anything, he used to sit outside his house and have a little stool. And then people, they say, why sitting over here? He said that I can't do anything. All those abilities that I had, I've lost. Now I'll sit here in the streets. Maybe people who are passing by, the least I can do is that I can do an istikhara for them. And that istikhara is helping someone who is in need, so that I be able to help someone. He used to sit there, maybe someone comes to him for an istikhara, so I help him, his problem is solved, and at the same time an ajr and a reward be given to me. So this is a beautiful trait, being helpful towards the creation. وَالْغَوْسُ وَالرَّحْمَةُ الْوَاسِعَةُ. So being helpful and the all-encompassing mercy of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Now, for the Ghaus, it is defined as helping a poor person, someone who has been miserable, who has seen a lot of misery. He's in need of help now, desperate, and he needs help. So who provides that help? Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. So we also have to have a kind of a reflection of that before a person gets into that state of desperation, we also be able to help him, provide him with a helping hand. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, he says that فَيَأْمُرُ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلْ جَبْرَئِيلَ فَيَسِيحُ عَلَى سُورِ مَسْجِدِ دَمِشْقَ أَلَا قَدْ جَاءَكُمُ الْغَوْسُ. That on the day when Imam arrives, Allah instructs Jibreel to go to the boundaries, to the walls of the mosque in Damascus, and there this announcement will be made by him. Allah, listen and attention. قَدْ جَاءَكُمُ الْغَوْسُ يَا أُمَّةَ مُحَمَّدٍ sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Ghaus has arrived, the helper has come to you, O nation of Rasulullah. قَدْ جَاءَكُمُ الْغَوْسُ يَا أُمَّةَ مُحَمَّدٍ. Again he repeats the same. قَدْ جَاءَكُمُ الْفَرَجُ. That is, indeed, the relief has come to you. وَهُوَ الْمَهْدِي. And that is Mahdi. خَارِجٌ مِّن مَكَّةَ فَأَجِيبُوهُ. So he is outside Mecca, so all of you respond to his call. وَقَدْ وَرَدَتِ الْإِسْتِغَاثَةُ بِهِ بَعْدَ زِيَارَتِهِ. Now here this istighatha also, it is you can find it in the ziyarat. For example, this ziyarat that I just mentioned, which is known as istighatha to Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, which means seeking help from Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. Towards the end of that istighatha means to seek help. Towards the end of that we say Ya Mawlaya Ya Sahib al-Zaman. Al-Ghaus, Al-Ghaus, Al-Ghaus. Help, help, help. Adrikni, Adrikni, Adrikni. Seek me, seek me, seek me. So again, that is that istighatha taught to us, that you offer that 2 rakat prayer, you recite this istighatha, and then towards the end of it, it is mentioned, it is written in it. In some of the other prints of this istighatha, it says Al-Aman, 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 As-Sa'a, As-Sa'a, As-Sa'a. That is, I want help now, now, now. Al-Ajal, 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 quick, quick, quick. So that's the way how you seek help. Now one of the other riwayat that we have, now I did talk about this once upon a time long ago, and that is Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. There are people who are serving the Imam. وَالنُّقَبَاء ثَلَاثَ مِئَةٌ وَالنُّجَبَاء سَبْعُونَ. So there are these assemblies that are working for the Imam. In this hadith says that there are 300 nuqaba. Nuqaba, they are those sincere servants of Imam alayhi salam, the pure near servants. And then above them there's another assembly which is closer to the Imam. They are known as Nujaba, Najib, that is the chaste, the pure, and they are 70 in number. And then Wal Budala Arbaun, and above them there are 40 members. Now this is again closer to the Imam, 40 members, Abdal. And then Akhyar, above them are Akhyar. Akhyar are the chosen ones, 7. And then Wal Umad, Umad means the pivots. It's from Amud, means a pillar, a column. So here there are 4, the 4 columns, and there are 4. So, and then he says Wal Ghaus, and above them it's Ghaus. Ghaus, it's the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. So first it is Imam, and then helping the Imam are the Umad or the Imad or these columns which are 4, and then below that it's 7 Akhyar, again below that Budala, Abdal 40, and then Nujaba 70, and then the main assembly it is Nuqaba, which are 300 in number. So all of them, they are in ranks. And then if there is a vacuum, now the 4 that are present in the first batch, which are known as the Abdal, 2 of them, they have an extraordinary life who are working for the Imam. One of them is Prophet Khizr and the other one is Prophet Ilyas. So these 2 prophets are there serving the Imam in the first batch of his servants, and they have an extraordinary life, and a life without death. Now the other 2 plus all the other members in the lower assembly, they are just like you and me, living an ordinary life which starts at a point and ends at a point. If there is a vacuum in this assembly serving the Imam, from wherever, from the first or the bottommost assembly, says if someone dies from among the Abdal, so there is a vacuum. So the one in the lower level from the Akhyar will be promoted to the Abdal. And then there's a vacuum in the Akhyar now, one of them from the lower level, he will be promoted up. And then from the main assembly, that one person is missing now, here Imam comes and picks someone from among the servants who are sincere to him. He himself comes and picks them and brings them closer to him, towards him, to serve his noble cause. Now here in this hadith says that Wal Ghaus, Imam is the Ghaus, that first person is Imam. Wal Ghaus Wahidun, just one. فَمَسْكَنُ النُّقَبَاء الْمَغْرِبِ, Nuqaba, they are settled in Maghrib. Maskanun Nujaba, Misr in Egypt, Nujaba in Egypt. Abdal, they are in Sham. Akhyar, they are just roaming around, moving around. Akhyar, they were 7. Wal Umud fi Zawaya al-Ard, and Umud, the 4, they are in the 4 corners of the earth. They are holding like those 4 columns and pivots. Wa maskanul Ghaus Makkah, and says that the residence of Ghaus, that is Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam, is Makkah. فإذا عرضت الحاجة من أمر العامة ابتهل فيها النقباء ثم النجباء ثم الأبدال, and then he tells all those job descriptions of every one of them. It's a beautiful riwayat, and this beautiful assembly of the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, and being a servant of the Imam alayhi salam, it's that greatest honor that a person can ever get in his life. And Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam, he also says the same, that is, Law adraktuhu. Imam as-Sadiq is the great grandfather, 6 generations before Imam al-Asr alayhi salam. He says, لو أدركته, if I perceived him, my great grandson after 6 generations, لخدمته أيام حياتي, I will serve him for the duration of my life. We also ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to enlist us among the sincere servants of Imam al-Asr alayhi salam. One of the ways to get closer to him is by Dua Ahd, Ziyaratul Ahd, recite it every day. And here Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam has promised. He says that you recite this ziyarah, and then if death intervenes and you depart from this world, you will be brought back when the Imam returns to serve him, because that was your desire, to be at his disposal, to be in his service, and that will be given to you. It is what you desire, and what you want is what you get. Whatever you want from Allah is what you get, inshallah, here and in the hereafter. We also ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, أرنا الطلعة الرشيدة والغرة الحميدة واكحل ناظري بنظرة مني إليه وعجل فرجهم وسهل مخرجه. اللهم عجل في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان. For all those who have departed, Allah forgive them, elevate their ranks. All those who are ill and ailing and have requested for du'as, Allah grant them shifa. Our children to be enlisted among the best of Muslims, and Ya Allah, we be counted among the best of the servants of Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. وسبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.